Hello and welcome to all our viewers to the post-match show of the second T20I between India and Australia. As the match, we finally had a game and it just concluded. And what a cracker of a game it has been! India managing to win it by 6 wickets and balancing the series, hence setting up for a very cracking and exciting series decider. And I will take this opportunity to welcome my panelists, Jaideep Mukherjee and Nishant Jeet Arora. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining. So, first things first, Joyada, what do you have to say about India's win and them finally effecting a bounce back and leveling the series?
Yeah, as expected. I think we spoke about that, but I thought that the Indian bowling was superb. I think in 8 overs, 90 is maybe 20, 25 runs short. I think India won today's match because of their bowling, and that hasn't happened in the last few weeks, months. India's bowling hasn't held its own, but Bumrah was outstanding. Akshar was very, very good. And there will be one or two that will go for runs. It happened with them as well. You won't find five guys all bowling 5 runs overs and them chasing 40 runs. It just doesn't happen. Some have good days, some have bad days. That's what team sport is all about. But what mattered was that Akshar continued his good work. Bumrah, which is a big worry because he's a big wig, he's a big dog, and he needs to come and deliver. He's been away from with injury. So for him to come and hit the strap straight away, and the greater players, not just the batters, the greater bowlers also do it straight away. Some take a little bit of time to get to the groove, some do it. That's the reason why they're great, because they're special. There's something about them that separates them from the very good. They're the best. But I thought today's win was because of the bowlers. 19 8 overs on that wicket was too little. I think about 15 runs short.
Absolutely. And Nishant, before we get into the dissections of this game, how about you also giving us your thoughts about India's mood of win today?
I think first and foremost, it was a great toss to win to start with. Uh, like especially when you're playing this rain-curtailed match, it's always nice to have the total how much you need to score, and if you know that, it makes little things easy for you. And as Joyda said, that Indian bowlers again, Akshar Patel was outstanding. Like he's having a he at one stage he looked like Derek Underwood on a on a wet on a damp
Without
wicket
without turning the ball.
without turning the ball. And so he was excellent. Jasprit Bumrah made a strong comeback. His Yorker, one to Steve Smith and one to Aaron Finch. It looked like the Bumrah Yorker factory is up and running again.
It's not
And
often you find the Aussies applauding you on your way back. That's not them.
Yeah, that's not something they will do. I'm sure. And Finch would have really found it really hard to play it, and that's why the moment he got out, he applauded Bumrah. So that's class all over. And after that, Rohit Sharma played a gem of an innings, hold the end from one end. And with Rohit's batting is, I always say that he's an artist with a knife in his hand. He butchers you, but you feel very nice about it. So
He's a
all
good
his,
surgeon.
yeah, he's a very, he kills you, but you don't feel bad. He's like that kind of
Yeah,
a cricket.
he's a very accomplished surgeon. He doesn't
Yeah,
make you feel the pain.
yeah. So today he was sublime, absolute sublime. His first six set the tone, and after that he never looked back. So I think all in all a great win for India. Like you rightly said, balancing the series, and we all can't wait for Hyderabad match now because that will be a big game.
It will definitely be a big game. And speaking of Rohit Sharma is undoubtedly our player of the match from tonight's game. He was absolutely outstanding for his 20 ball 46 not out. He completely anchored India's innings. As for Australia, well, not a very pleasant night out tonight, but for them, their skipper Aaron Finch has created a record that he becomes the first Australian skipper to cross 2,000 international T20I runs. That's the update. So now let's get into the details of this game. Joyda, I want to know from you. Whenever there is this rain curtailed game like tonight, what kind of a mindset do teams have to get into? Like, of course, already T2020 it's a pressure situation. Now from 20 overs, it's been curtailed to 8 overs. So what kind of a mindset do teams have to, change themselves to?
Well, it depends what it is curtailed to. 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 5 is the least you can have. So it always, the curtailment overs depends on the mode that you're asking. If it's a 5 over game, it's a 30 ball game, it's different. Today was a 48 ball game, so it's different. So every time depends on how much the curtailment is, depend on the time that there is. But I'm glad there was a game, and Dinesh Karthik said it at the post-match interview for the sake of the spectators, because the people have been waiting. Nobody has left the ground. There's been a match here after a long, long time, and they deserved. I'm glad the conditions were suitable for a game of cricket, because with the T20 World Cup, where you also could not play in dicey conditions because you've got too much to lose, both from both sides. But thankfully, the groundsman did a fabulous job, and we got to play. Yeah, but to answer your question, it varies from over to over. With an 8 over game, you can go hard, and then you can again consolidate a bit, and then you can go hard again. And you would pray that one of your 7 batters has a day, just like somebody like Matthew Wade did the previous day and today. And today Rohit did it. It could have been anybody else. Virat hit a superb couple of straight shots of slower balls. Kale hit a big one. Surya left early, but that's the way it is. You can't blame, because it's a game where you got to get on with it. And if you play too conventionally, then that can bother you. That can work against you in such a short game. So everybody comes and opens up and plays, and hopefully 2 guys need to do it, and that was done today.
And Nishant, if I can come to you, I'll just please the other part of this question. If Joyda talked to us about the mindset which players need to have whenever it's a curtailed game, could you please tell us how are the number of overs decided whenever there is rain? Like, okay, inspection, these are the number of overs you're supposed to play, or you can play, or can happen. How are these number of overs decided?
The formula is very simple. At every ground, they have a cutoff time, and based on the rain and based on whenever the ground is ready, they do a backward calculation. So, like they would have done the backward calculation. Okay, if our cutoff time is 11 o'clock in the night or 11:30 in the night, we can have 8 overs between 10 minutes break. So 8 overs means 40 minutes, roughly around 40 to 50 minutes per innings. So that's like a 2 hours 10 minutes game, that kind of a thing. So it's always a backward calculation. So that's how they go about it.
So it's not decided on the basis of, like, I might be sounding a bit silly, like 5 overs, 10, or no round figure. It's
No,
decided on
no,
the basis of time.
yeah,
Yeah,
it can, yeah, it's basically
totally
decided on
right.
the
Nothing
basis of
else.
time. And also because I'll tell you one other interesting thing. A lot of time people think that
Please.
you can go on with the match, you can play till 12 o'clock, you can till 1 o'clock. Broadcasters book a satellite for certain amount of time to beam the match live across the world, and that satellite
Okay.
time is booked, like it starts half an hour or 45 minutes before the toss, when they do the testing of the signals and everything. And then they have like some area time, some backup time for rain curtailed matches like this. But it's not like it can go on and on and on. It's a it's international commitments. Broadcasters have to do that. So that's why it's very important, because people watching the match across the world, it's beamed through the satellite. So that's why it's critical that that time is also matched. So keeping all those combinations in mind, that's how they decide on the time. So the idea is to maximize the play. Idea is to maximize the play, have as many overs as possible within the
Okay.
cutoff time. So the minimum is five
Okay.
overs each. So they will go by like, okay, 10 over game. That means we need 1 hour 30 minutes. So if it's a 11:30 cutoff time, like I'm just giving an hypothetical example, that if it's a 11 o'clock cutoff time, then for a 11 o'clock cutoff time match, if a 5 over game, minimum 5 over game, has to start by 9:30. That's how it goes.
Okay. Okay. That's an interesting point. And Australia's innings. Let's come to Australia's batting. Well, Joyda, there's no stopping Matthew Wade, is there? He's just unbelievable.
Yeah, plays in the IPL, plays these grounds, plays these bowlers in the form of his life. Cricket is a game of form. Cricket is a game of form, whether
Absolutely.
you're a batsman, whether you're a bowler. And when you come and play, you don't know who the form is going to be with, who it's not going to be with. When you have it, you embrace it. You thank the Lord that you have it. When you don't have it, then you keep praying to the Lord that it comes back to you. So, it's a purple patch. And somebody who's only been through it can really feel it. Sometimes everything you do hits the middle of the bat. Every ball goes to the gap, catches are dropped. Things, the everything rolls for you, and just completely the opposite happens when you're not in form. So, he's hit form, and he seems to be the player now who's standing up and saying, I'm going to do it. It could be somebody else the next day, but the last couple of innings that he's played has been magical. And, he's played a lot in the top of the order for in the IPL, but he's also showing teams that he can do the damage in the middle. And he's doing his stocks no harm.
And also, just I would
Absolutely.
like to
Yeah,
also
please,
I would
Nishant.
like to add something. Like if you look at today's uh, Matthew Wade's batting, it was proper cricketing shots. It was like, in an 8 over game, you expect everyone to go after the bowlers and you will have some ugly shots. But I don't think that I saw one bad ugly shot from him. Like he was like on top of his game, played proper cricket shots, a cut from over the point or a pull shot over you know square leg. All those were proper cricketing shots. So it just shows that he's in the form of his life. And right now he can उसको ball football दिख रहा है इस वक्त. And he just comes and he starts hitting the ball. Like that's a famous Dada will vouch for it. In domestic cricket it's used, उसको ball football दिख रहा है, that means someone is in the form of his life.
या बॉल फुटबॉल दिख रहा है, और बैट का विथ भी बड़ा हो गया इसीलिए.
हाँ.
नहीं तो फुटबॉल बॉल दिखेगा और बैट नॉर्मल रहेगा तो बाहर नहीं जाएगा. बैट भी वाइड हो गया, तो दोनों उसके लिए चल रहा है. सो व्हेन इट्स अ फुटबॉल, ही इज राइट. द सेइंग इज दैट यू सी इट बेटर बिकॉज़ द बॉल्स बिगर, and then his width of the bat has also become bigger. He's hitting it out. Yeah, that's right. That's what good form does to you.
And form is such an
And
interesting thing, na? Form
Yeah,
is such an interesting thing. If you look at, I know, it's an 8 over game. Everyone has to go for the runs. You could make out now that Virat Kohli has got his form back. His two shots clearly could tell you the story. Even with KL Rahul, I think Mohali was a match where he was coming out of an injury straight to the Asia Cup. He needed some time in the middle, but in Mohali game you could make out that he has got his game back. And today that six he hit a flick off on the mid wicket. It just shows the timing. When you're timing the ball so well, you know that everything is falling in place. So that's a good news for India.
absolutely. And 8 overs is too lesser time to be able to express yourself. But Virat Kohli is just class. So even
Yeah.
that limited time
yeah,
is
it's
more than
just
enough for him.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes just some short innings, 10 balls, 8 balls, 4 balls that can make a difference for you. You play 7 balls, you need 360, you've done your job. Then you get out, no problem, because the game is shorter, so everything is shorter. Your responsibility is shorter, but your asking is more. So
Absolutely.
sometimes the strike rate is of prime importance over here, more than the runs you've scored.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the chase was very identical to Australia's innings. Like in Australia's innings, you see that 50% or more than 50% of the runs were scored by Matthew Wade. Likewise, Rohit Sharma got the maximum amount of runs. And on the other hand, whoever came, they just tried to keep hitting the balls. So one end it was decided. I think it looked like that one end you will hold the innings, but on the other end you will just keep hitting the balls. You get out, you get out. But you're in 48 balls. What what can you do? You have to like just go, and there's no time to sit there.
Absolutely. And we have spoken about it just now. Even Nishant highlighted it well, but a bit more. Nishant, uh, how good was Rohit Sharma tonight? Even in this short, limited overs game, just 8 overs, he made sure he left his impact. How good was he tonight?
It was an outstanding innings. Like, you know, he was like, it looked like that. There was a lot of talk about the wicket and how it is a little damp
Yeah,
and the ball is not coming on the bat. And Rohit is someone who likes the ball to come on his bat. He likes he trusts the bounce of the pitch. And you would expect someone like Rohit to struggle a bit on this wicket, but that was not the case. He knew that Australians will rely a lot on slow ball, and he waited for them, and every scoring opportunity he didn't miss out on them. And some of his sixes, oh my God! Like I think he should immediately start a masterclass on how to play the pull shot. I I will go down to say that Rohit Sharma is the best puller of cricket ball India has ever produced. Best puller of India ball. I'm just talking about one shot. And
So does he see the ball like a football as well?
he was in some zone today. He was in some zone. I think it was exceptional batting. And and this is it is building up nicely in the sense that Indian batting is getting a settled look. Walking towards sometimes. Uh, you peak too early also is not a good thing. So uh, in a way, the way India is like gradually getting their game back, like they're solving little problems. I think bowling still needs a bit of work, but overall I think before going to Australia, all these are little good news for India. Rohit hitting the ball well, Virat in form, KL Rahul getting runs. So all this is nicely falling in place as far as batting is concerned.
Actually, the pitch played quite well. I was expecting the pitch to be much
Yeah,
slower. Actually, the pitch played quite well. Yes, there was an over from Pat Cummins, which baffled Rohit for a couple of balls. Went to the keeper in two bounces. But that apart, I was thinking that this pitch is going to be less conducive for stroke play, which it wasn't. We saw some shots, especially the one that Rohit hit off Josh Hazelwood, the first six that Nishant was talking about. There was one Matthew Wade hit on a wicket where the ball is not coming onto the bat. It's impossible to hit those shots. You can
I would,
only
I
hit
would,
those shots to the places where you hit it. Over a midland off stump ball over mid wicket, half flick, sort of a shot up in the air. The timing of it being so good to carry it's a big boundary over there. So to carry it into the crowd, the pitch has to be good enough to be able to not take away any speed after the ball hits the ground. If after the ball hitting the ground slows down, then that shot doesn't come off. But if that shot to come off, that the ball after hitting the ground has to also carry the same speed and momentum in. Then only will that shot come through. So I was pleasantly surprised that the pitch looked a lot worse than it played. It played a lot better.
and I think the hallmark of a good pitch is that like if you look at it today, every bad ball was treated the way it should have been. It was dispatched where it should have been. Whether
And
it
some
was
and some good balls.
yeah, Matthew Wade, or whether it was Rohit Sharma, like you could make out that they bad balls got the right treatment, and even some good balls, like if they were in the slot, they were out of the ground. So it
Yeah, that
was
first six you were talking about Rohit Sharma, that wasn't a bad ball, but that was just a
but
brilliant shot.
that was exceptional timing.
Yeah. So
He
that's what
didn't
I'm
even
saying.
hit it.
That shot is only possible on a good wicket.
Yeah,
Okay. And Joyda, if I can come to you, during the course of the match, unfortunately, in the pre-show, of course, keeping aside me facing massive network issues and, with a massively delayed game, I was going through the playing 11 during the course of the match, and it said, if you could just help me understand, one part it says in India's playing 11, Rishabh Pant in place of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Now, how are replacements made? Like, isn't it a bowler for a bowler or a batsman for a batsman? Like, Rishabh Pant is a
No,
batsman, but he's being replaced for a
Umesh,
fast bowler. How are these?
Umesh Yadav. Umesh Yadav.
No, it says Rishabh Pant in place of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Jasprit Bumrah comes in for Umesh Yadav. That's what it
Yeah.
says here.
Yeah. So what happens is that so you play with six bowlers in the last game, but this one, when you replace two bowlers, so you had six
Hmm.
bowlers in the last game, okay? Two of
Huh?
the bowlers are gone, and you replace one of
Huh?
the bowlers. So you played this game with five bowlers. That's what it's
Okay.
happened.
and also
Sorry?
I think you should not forget that every bowler was allowed to bowl 2 overs. So in eight
Yes.
overs, technically you needed four bowlers. So that is why India added an extra batsman. Like in the last game, you had a backup. of like if in a 20 over game you need five bowlers to bowl 4 overs each and they bowl 20 overs, and then you have one backup bowler like whether Hardik Pandya, or if someone has a bad day, Hardik can bowl a over or two. But in this game, because it was an 8 over game, every bowler was allowed 2 overs, so
Yes.
they just needed one extra cushion, and they knew that they have to go for the runs. Like every ball, you in a situation like this, you can lose wickets also very quickly because you have to go for the runs. And so, in an 8 over game, it makes a lot of sense when you know that you only have four, need four bowlers to finish your overs, and then you have Hardik Pandya who bowled 1 over and Yuji Chahal just bowled 1 over. So it's better to have someone like Rishabh Pant who can actually come and tonk the ball out of the ground.
And they also had Hardik with the new ball because he's a handful with the new ball. He swings it. The first ball was a
Yeah.
really good outswinger. So, he was, for lack of a better word, the third best bowler among the fast bowlers. He's playing as an all-rounder. There's Bumrah, there's Harshal, although Harshal still looking way below par than his best, but that can happen. It will take some time. I reckon he should play a lot more and then see that if he's reached where he needs to, and if not, then you look at options. I'm also thinking that somewhere along the line, Ashdeep will come in because, with the new ball, left armour, Yorkers, at the back end. I was just thinking today, for some reason, if Bumrah was cold at the end, then we could be in trouble. But thankfully, the seventh over was superb, and the eighth over, unfortunately, Harshal got tonked a bit. But that's happened to everybody, and he'll be back.
No, actually, my question was that how are replacements made? Like in this game, since it was known that it's an 8 over game, so it has to be more of power hitting, less of bowling. In that sense, is
That's
our
right.
replacements made?
That's right.
No, in the last game there were six bowlers. They played with five bowlers, and they bolstered their batting because they knew it's going to be a short burst of hitting, the more risks will be taken. So you could lose wickets. You want to bolster up your batting.
Okay, okay, got it. And it being an 8 overs game, there is actually we have everything has been discussed because it's been unfortunately such a short game. But the good news is that India have bounced back. They have leveled the series very successfully, and hence for us cricket fans, they have given us an opportunity to expect a very interesting and intriguing series decider on the 25th. And on this note, I would like to conclude the post-match presentation of the second T20I between India and Australia. And to my viewers, you were hearing my panelists Jaideep Mukherjee and Nishant Jeet Arora. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining. And let's meet on the 25th and expect both these teams to fight it out and set up a stage for a very, very intriguing series decider. Until then, take care of yourselves, enjoy good games, and it's good night from India.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.